The seriousness of the challenge of climate change was brought home to us in the climate change group a few weeks ago at one of our meetings when Stavros Dimas, the European Union's Environment Commissioner, came to speak to us. He told us that as the scientific evidence accumulates, it is clear that the fight against climate change is much more than a battle. It is a world war that will last for many years and probably for many generations. Damaged economies, refugees, political instability and the loss of life are typically the results of war, but they will also be the results of unchecked climate change. It is like a war because to reduce emissions something like a war economy is needed. All sectors, transport, energy, agriculture and foreign policy must work closely together to meet a common objective, and it is a world war because every country in the world will be affected by the results of climate change, although it will be the poorest who are hit hardest. In my mind, what Dimas is saying is that we need very tough measures to deal with this problem. We are looking at a climate change bill in the United Kingdom, very shortly coming to Parliament, which will for the first time in any parliament in the world outline the measures necessary to deal with climate change. It's important that this bill reflects a framework which can be global in its nature, even if we are passing legislation purely for the United Kingdom. The All-Party Climate Change Group has looked at a number of frameworks to deal with climate change, and we've come to a conclusion that Contraction and Convergence is really the only one that's been proposed to date that measures up to the task. We would like to see our own UK climate change bill measure up against Contraction and Convergence and to recognise the logic, the rationale and the science that is incorporated in the Contraction and Convergence model, which also includes the moral position too, which I think is vitally important so that we can ensure that the whole world can sign up to a framework which recognises the needs of developing countries as well as those of developed countries.